You muted. No, you froze. Second time around. See, you froze again.
Second time around with Smokey and Tammy.
Yeah!
Hey friends, I'm Smokey.
And I'm Tammy.
And welcome to Second Time Around 7.
So today's topic is going to be about having some hot communication. Honest, open, and transparent. Talk to me, baby.
Talk to me, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get it.
So we get asked by folks in the street, what does it take to have a long, healthy marriage? And our response is usually good communication.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Good communication is important, as I said, in several areas of your life. For a healthy relationship, even a good trait to pass down to your children is to have healthy communication. It's good to have healthy communication at work. All things that we can build upon. So, in a relationship, what are some strategies that we can come up with or that we've used for healthy communication?
So, like when something was bothering me one day, I took time to gather my thoughts and figure out what it was I wanted to say. And I found a time to share that with you. And so, like, for example, there was a time when our youngest child would come home from school. Homework was done in aftercare, but I still had to go through it and check it. Okay. And so after I worked, came home, did my own homework, and then checked his homework, it just seemed like an extended day or evening. And I know you were in school full time, so you had your own homework to do, but you weren't checking his homework. And so, and although you still had other things you were doing, helping me check and correct his homework was important to me. And so I know you've always told me that I could tell you anything. And so I had enough. Because I was keeping it to myself. Keeping it to myself. And I finally just found some time when we were cooking dinner one night, and I told you how I felt and how it was making me feel, and that I was tired. And from that moment on, you actually shared in that responsibility, but you would have never known had I not told you that.
And what I hear you saying is that you expressed to me a feeling that you were feeling a certain way, and it caused you to feel a certain way. And when you started feeling a certain way, overwhelmed, it was almost as if I knew what you were feeling and what you were going through, and I knew why you were going through. What's wrong with a statement like that?
What do you mean?
What's wrong with me thinking that I know what's going on in your mind?
Well, you're assuming. We know what happens when people assume.
What? Oh, people get frustrated.
No, okay. And so,
be careful with you.
Right. So being able to have that conversation with your spouse is important. I mean, that homework, checking your child's homework may seem like a small thing or a trivial thing, but we there's other relationship conversations that need to be had, especially when it comes to intimacy.
Intimacy. Wow. That's great. I love intimacy because intimacy to me is equivalent to foreplay.
Okay.
And when does foreplay and intimacy start? Woo! Lord Jesus. About to blow your head off.
But does it stop? I mean,
you better go. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I got excited. Intimacy is a great tool to use in a marriage, and using intimacy, using communication.
Yeah, stay on topic. Communication.
Right. Right. That went left real quick, didn't it? All right. Communication. So some things that I learned about in communication is that we need to stay away from are you statements. You statement and like always and never. Yeah, you kind of like want to stay away from those things. Like you always do this, or you never do this. Yeah. While the statement might happen a lot of times or frequently, always is a long time and never is a long time. So yeah, it's probably better to frame our statements with the I statements. An example would be is I feel overwhelmed by doing my homework and Jaden's homework, and then XYZ. And when you do not help me with his homework, XYZ, and this happens. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Okay, good.
All right, so back to intimacy.
Intimacy. Ooh.
So, guys, you should be able to share with your spouse those things that you like or don't like to do with your spouse or at all, period. So,
Intimacy.
for me, it's like tongue kissing. I don't do anything from here to here. Don't do it. It's something about the mouth. Like, I can pet kiss all day long, but I'm not going to slip you the tongue. It's not happening. And so,
what if I had a tracheotomy?
We would hire another nurse, but this nurse won't do it. It's not happening. I'm sorry.
All right, good. Okay.
But when we got married, I know we had the conversation of how we would kiss. When we would kiss like we normally kiss,
Right.
That's about it.
That's about it.
You know, but had I not told you that up front, you may have wanted to try to put on a show. You could have been doing something we don't even normally do.
Right, and then, or I put my tongue in your mouth, and then you end up throwing up in my mouth. That's more than I asked for.
Right.
And nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want that.
And I know I've shared with you about the love taps. You know,
Right.
it's just, I don't mind love taps, but it's just something about it when you are doing it and we're walking the steps. And I'm trying to figure out why. I don't know really why. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I know I love tap you a lot. But it's just something about getting up the steps and it's like I'm just trying to get to where I'm going and it bothers me. And I know you know that, but you just kept doing it. And then we kind of, I just kind of thought back a little more. And I remember as a teenager, young man touched me on my butt. Another teenager, sorry, not somebody's teacher or father or nothing. But another teenager, he touched me on my butt. And I turned around and knocked him. Well, I didn't knock him out, but we did get into it. I did get into it. So I think that's what it is that sneaky little let me real quick. I know she don't want me to do it, but I'm gonna do it. And I think that's what bothers me about it. And ever since we had that conversation, I know that you should do it.
Right. Well, yeah.
At least one of the steps.
Right. And the reason that I did, because I don't want my feelings or my expressions, my love taps, to go in a hostile category. Being associated with trauma from your past, and that helps in communication, because that lets me know that you're uncomfortable with that, not with me tapping you on the butt, but in that particular situation that you're uncomfortable with me tapping you on the butt. Tap that. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, Jesus.
And we want to share with you guys other ways that you can communicate with your spouse if you're finding it hard to say the words, because I know I don't want to hurt Smokey's feelings, but I still need to tell him something. Then you can write it down.
Right.
And we were talking earlier, Write it in all caps, write it in red, highlight it, cursive, print, whatever you got to do to express how you are truly feeling and to be able to feel comfortable and say, handing it off to your spouse to read it for the tone that it was meant to be taken.
At the time that it was taken. And the reason that that's important, so we don't get inside of our own minds and start thinking, I told you this. You know why I'm upset. No, we didn't talk about it. You wrote it down. Oh, it's in the letter that I was going to give you later. But you should know. Yeah, I should know, but I'm not inside your head. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's a part of effective communication. And something that I said, I'm not sure if I said it here or we talked about it earlier.
What's that?
We said like framing statements around I statements. Like I feel, whatever your emotion is, I feel frustrated, I feel overwhelmed, I feel disrespected, that you do your work, but you never help with anything else, like the chores, the laundry, the dishes, cutting the grass, whatever the case may be. Talk about it while it's small instead of letting it fester. Because some people can hold an attitude. Some people can hold a grudge. And then it starts to build up and it frustrates, and then it becomes like a volcano and just begins to erupt. And you have unnecessary casualties at that point.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Oh, I just listened.
No, you're good. You're right. You're right. Just make sure it's just communication. Just be willing to listen as much as you talk.
Actively
listen. And be comfortable with the silence. Because sometimes it's going to be quiet while the other person is speaking. That person might be processing what's going on, taking in everything that you're saying, listening, not to respond, but to change their actions.
So some places that I like to have these type conversations with Smokey.
In the bathroom.
No. In the kitchen. I like cooking with you. And
I love cooking with you.
Okay, I love cooking with you. And so we have these conversations in the kitchen.
And what's that thing we do?
When we're mise en place.
That's the
mise
one.
en place.
When
When we're prepping stuff and just kind of having that conversation, and or something else we do. We could just go sit in the car or sit on the porch, but both of the cars have a moonroof. So sit in the car, lay back over the moonroof and, look at the stars. Sometimes we even pop the tent in the yard and we'll go out in the yard and hide in the tent, and just at a long time where it's uninterrupted and you can have these conversations. And, I feel like you're most attentive when it's one-on-one, because there's a lot of people in this house.
I agree.
So we need to find one-on-one time and have conversations, even if it's just how was your day. And if it was a rough day, how did that make you feel? Well, I'm glad you're home. I'm glad you made it home safely. You made it through the day. Thank God.
Right.
You were where you needed to be when you needed to be there. And now you're home.
Right.
Because this is home.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, like you were saying, I think what you need to do first, or what you should do first, is identify your feelings. So before you have your conversations, before you have you come to Jesus moments, whatever the case may be, big or small, identify your feelings. How did it make you feel when you saw the laundry still unfolding? Frustrated, ignored, unheard. Next, and give you like a solid idea of how to deal with it. Do you need more info on the expected timeline? Like, okay, Smokey, the laundry's been sitting here for a week. what's the timeline for getting that folded and put away,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever the case may be, between your particular situation. We were talking about something else earlier.
What?
I forgot.
But when earlier, like
The,
just before we started this?
yeah, I think it was like expected timelines and something. Never mind, I can't remember. If
Oh,
I remember,
I thought you were about to tell everybody how you shared with me. You thought I was going to come out and help you cut grass.
oh, yeah, I thought you were gonna cut the grass.
What?
I'm saying, you always say you want to come out and you want to cut the grass. You never let me ride the lawn.
You don't.
Well, you never come outside.
I be outside. I sit on the porch. Cheer you on.
Man, what good is sitting on the porch?
I got you.
You
Next
gotta
time.
sit on the lawnmower.
Next time. I got you.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Just don't wait till it gets dusky.
Ladies and gentlemen, effective communication will have you moving from the chair to the lawnmower. Ah, glory!
So what I wanted to say was, you don't want to lose what God put together. God brought us back together. Thank you, Jesus.
Mhm.
So
Amen.
what anything worth having is worth fighting for. And it's not always with your fist. Sometimes it's with your words.
Right.
Okay. And so I'm going to make sure that I communicate openly with Smokey so he knows how I'm feeling, how I'm doing, what I see, what I don't see,
Right.
because he may have feedback from me. So in order for me to get what I need from him,
Mhm.
he needs to know what I'm looking for.
And you know what? Sometimes we talk to our friends more than we talk to our spouses. We'll tell our men will tell men, women will tell women, girl, boy, man, let me tell you, Shorty, she don't never, but then when it comes to having that conversation with our spouse, we're mute about it. And also one thing that sometimes we're mute about is offering compliments. Like, I like it when you da 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 da, but when you da 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 da, I feel da 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 da. So that's just another way of expressing how you feel, and that's what you need. That's a good thing to have in an open relationship.
And if you find that communication just is not your forte for your marriage,
Mhm.
I would suggest seeking help from a licensed professional counselor.
That's a great idea. Here's one exercise that I would like to leave with you. Um, Listening without words. All right, it's an exercise where it focuses on verbal and nonverbal communication. What you do is you set a timer. Well, we don't have time, but you set a timer for like 3 to 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and one partner is given an opportunity to verbalize everything that they're feeling without any interruption. The other person can't say nothing. And then meanwhile, the other partner can only use nonverbal techniques to convey empathy, understanding, and encouragement, to let you know that I'm understanding what you're doing. So we talked about it earlier, how we communicate without words sometimes. Anyway.
Talk about the left.
Yeah. Okay, I was trying to be nice. Yeah. But how we communicate. So the other person can't say anything. And then when the timer goes off, the couple's processes the experience by discussing the observations and feelings and ideas. So basically each partner will do that, and then you switch roles. It's a great tool. One, when you're upset. Two, when everything is good. The reason it's great at both ends because sometimes when we're fussing to be heard instead of fussing, instead of expressing and understanding. And sometimes when we listen to respond instead of listening for understanding. So that's a great tool 3 to 5 minute tool.
Hmm.
I throw you that one in on the house.
Okay. That's interesting. I have to keep that in mind.
Okay.
That's not bad.
3 to 5 minutes.
3 to 5 minutes. Gotcha. All right. Well, that's all I had.
And that's all I have. I'm Smokey.
And I'm Tammy.
And welcome. And this is the second time around 7.
May God bless you.
And have a smile upon you. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye, friends.
Bye.
You muted. No, you froze. Second time around. See, you froze again.
Second time around with Smokey and Tammy.
Yeah!